still talking to you from the Garden of Gethsemani, the real Garden of Gethsemani where Yeshua prayed. Look at all the different flowers here at this time of year. All the different fruit. The oranges and lemons are out. The blossoms on this tree, I don't know what that tree is there. The pomegranates are still dormant from last year. And I'm hanging on to an almond tree. Look at the beautiful blossoms on this almond tree. Remember in the story when Yeshua came to Jerusalem when he's going to be crucified? He cursed the fig tree. Why did he do that? What was wrong with the fig tree? There's no figs on there this time of year. He did it because it was symbolic of the tree of knowledge of good and evil in the Garden of Eden. And the next day they came back and the tree was dead, gone, withered up. Then Yeshua came and he was hung on the tree of life. It wasn't a crucifix. Look at the Acts, look what the apostles, the witnesses say, it was a tree. The tree of life is an almond tree. Aaron's rod that's put inside the Ark of the Covenant was an almond tree rod. The menorah is made in the shape of an almond tree buds. Here we have an almond. Right here. With all these beautiful blossoms. Yeshua is hung on the tree of life on an almond tree. And he came back to life 3 days, 3 nights later. 3 days and 3 nights. Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Thursday day, Friday day, and Saturday day. At the end of the Sabbath, at the end of Saturday, he came back to life. Our Messiah is not dead. And that's the promise of the wave sheaf day. That's what it means to keep the barley. That's why we keep the barley. It's a wave sheaf day. Because the saints, Matthew 27 verse 50, 51, 52, 53, when he died on the Wednesday, those graves were raised up and marked. Symbolic of the marking of the barley. And then, after the Sabbath, that barley is harvested and brought into the temple and is waved on the Sunday morning at 9 a.m. We read in John, there's a man in white robes, not an angel, a man, a young man. That means he was alive, he was brought back to life. Because in Matthew 27 verse 50 or 51, those people that were raised up came out of the graves when Yeshua came out of the grave at the end of the Sabbath. And they went into Jerusalem and everyone saw them. This is the great miracle of the wave sheaf offering that nobody understands. It's the first resurrection of the saints. It's the first one. And if you understand that, if you can grasp that, that's why we look for the barley. That's what it means. That's why we search for the barley. Because the first fruits of the wheat at Shavuot, they represent you and I. And everyone who's lived since Yeshua came out of the grave, that's the apostles and all the saints since then, they will be raised out of the grave on Shavuot. I believe that to be the year 2033. That's just 11 years from the time that we're making this video. In 2022. They'll be raised out of the grave at that time. You and I who are alive will be changed in the twinkling of an eye. Those of us who are dead will be raised at that time. That's the importance. That's what's so great about him coming back to life in the garden, or coming back to life after he was killed at Passover in 31 AD. There's great hope for us. Great hope. Signified in this almond tree. The tree of life. Grab onto the tree of life. That's the Torah. Get rid of the fig tree. Get rid of the book, the knowledge of good and evil. Start learning Torah. Shalom from Jerusalem.